This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 1:15. Here's the news edited by Ramesh Perez, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. The Pakistan Defence Minister issues clarification vehemently condemning the Israel court lynching. The State Minister of Cooperative Services says gas explosion victims will be compensated. Litrogas Lanka Limited ordered to recall unused gas cylinders distributed before 4th of December. The daily COVID counts in the country is in the rise. The continuous vaccination campaign continues island-wide. The fishermen affected by Express Pearl fire to be compensated. An 11-member committee appointed to investigate recent unrest in the chamber of the parliament. The final rites of the late Priyanta Kumar, who was brutally murdered in Sialkot, Pakistan, to be performed today. International news. The appeals court upheld former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib's I-1MDB conviction. Cricket news. Rain intervenes as England was scuttled out by the Australia on the first day of the Ashes encounter in Brisbane. Local news in detail. The Federal Defence Minister Pervez Shatak issued a clarification regarding his earlier statement on the Sialkot lynching and said that he vehemently condemns the incident. In a video message, the minister said that his earlier statement has been taken out of context and he would like to issue a clarification in this regard. Minister Shatak said that earlier he was asked whether the Sialkot lynching occurred because of the deal between the government and the Tehreek-i-Labbaik Pakistan. In response, he had said that no political party or the government should be associated with the incident where the Sri Lankan national Priyanta Kumar, who was tortured to death by a mob. The defense minister reiterated that those involved in the incident acted on their own, adding that the government is trying its best to punish the culprits in a way so as to make an example out of them in Pakistan. The epidemiology unit said the daily count of COVID-19 cases confirmed in Sri Lanka moved to 748 yesterday, as 222 more people were tested positive for the virus. This brings the total number of confirmed cases of coronavirus reported in the country to 569,171. As many as 543,111 recoveries and 14,505 deaths have been confirmed in Sri Lanka since the COVID-19 outbreak. More than 11,500 active cases in total are currently under medical care. Meanwhile, 40,347 individuals have been administered COVID-19 vaccine doses yesterday. Accordingly, 13,771,693 individuals have thus far been fully vaccinated in Sri Lanka. On a separate note, the World Health Organization says existing vaccines should still protect people who contract the Omicron variant from severe COVID cases. It comes as the first lab test of the new variant in South Africa suggests it can partially evade the Pfizer jab. Omicron is the most heavily mutated version of the coronavirus found so far. It was first identified in South Africa, where there is now a surge in the number of people catching COVID multiple times. State Minister of Fisheries Kanchana Vijayasakara's 13,832 fishermen whose livelihoods were affected due to the fire on board the Express Pearl vessel have been compensated under the first phase. The State Minister said around 1,200 fishermen yet to be compensated under the first phase. The State Minister said in the Gampaha district 10,175 fishermen, 2,956 in Colombo and 701 fishermen in Kalutara have been compensated. He claimed that following confirmation of information, 1,200 more fishermen compensation sums will be credited to them. Meanwhile, Express feeders operators of the container ship Express Pearl signed a contract with the Shanghai Salvage Company for the removal of the wreck. SLBC has established a project team for the salvage operation and has already mobilized the equipment necessary for the wreck removal. The wreck removal plan will ensure complete removal and safe, proper disposal of the wreck and any debris and pollutants around the wreck. Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardene today announced the appointment of the committee to submit a report on the recent misbehavior of members of parliament inside the chambers. The 11-member committee is chaired by Deputy Speaker Ranjit Simbalapitiya. A heated debate ensued in the House on 3rd and 4th of December with the opposition boycotting to enter the chambers until the safety of its members are assured. However, following a discussion with the Speaker, the SJB lawmakers decided to attend the parliamentary sittings starting today following their boycott. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A range of unmatched benefits with People's Credit Cards from People's Bank.
Continuing with more local news, the final rites of the late Priyantha Kumara, who was brutally murdered in the Sialkot, Pakistan, will be performed today. The final rites will be held at the Polhena Public Cemetery in Ganemulla. The remains of Priyantha Kumara were repatriated on Monday. He was employed as a manager at a factory in Sialkot and was brutally assaulted and killed, and his remains were torched in public last Friday. The attention of the world has been directed to this incident. Priyantha Kumara, a father of two, left for employment in Pakistan 11 years ago. Meanwhile, Malik Adnan, the man who tried to save Sri Lankan manager Deyawadanage Nandasiri Priyantha Kumara from a violent mob, said he has dedicated the civilian award Tamga-e-Sujat given to him by Prime Minister Imran Khan to Priyantha Kumara and the people of Sri Lanka. Adnan showed extraordinary courage while making an effort to save Kumara during a mob attack at a sports factory in Sialkot last Friday. China and Sri Lanka signed an aid agreement of 7.68 billion rupees for the comprehensive refurbishment of Sri Lanka's Superior Court complex. Various discussions have been held since around 2012 to renovate the building of the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court complex, where the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal are currently located, with the full support of the Government of China. The Supreme Court complex, built in 1989 with China aid, has been playing a central role in the island judiciary for more than 32 years. The Transport Minister Pavitra Vannaraja says steps will be taken to digitalize the transport services to provide an efficient and comfortable public transport service to commuters by 2022. These facts were revealed during a discussion today at the ministry with ministry officials about the projects to be executed next year. The minister said that the digitalization program will be implemented through the Sahasra project under the ministry as the initial step. Minister Vannaraja added that action will be taken to provide GPS technology to 2,000 private buses while spending 2 100 million rupees on the project. The minister also stated that the ministry is planning to introduce e-tickets to the public by 2022. The Samagi Janabalabegi lawmakers who were boycotting parliamentary sessions will be attending them starting today. According to the main opposition's General Secretary MP Ranjit Madhuma Bandara, the relevant decision had been taken at a discussion held with the Speaker of the House. SJP legislators also staged a protest yesterday near the Parliament premises, stressing the safety of opposition members in the House. That ends local news.
A range of unmatched benefits with People's credit cards from People's Bank. Discounts up to 60% and interest-free installment plans from selected merchants.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Consumer Affairs Authority has ordered Litrogas Lanka Limited to recall all unused domestic LP gas cylinders distributed to dealers and consumers before the 4th of December. Accordingly, the unused gas cylinders still containing the polythene seal will be replaced with the new cylinders. Meanwhile, the Cooperative Services, Marketing Development and Consumer Protection State Minister Lasantha Alagivana says victims of domestic gas cylinder explosions, properties and equipment damaged will be duly compensated by the government after analyzing the root cause. The minister added once the 8-member expert committee chaired by Professor Santa Valpola of the University of Moratuwa, appointed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to probe the sudden increase of domestic LPG cylinder blasts in many parts of the country is completed. The government will be in a position to provide relief to families affected. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission. The Department of Examinations has informed that the candidates who are infected with COVID-19 or quarantined will be given a separate date to sit for the practical examinations in the aesthetic subjects of the GCE Ordinary Level 2020 examination. Candidates who are affected should notify principal of the relevant schools, or private candidates personally should notify the school examinations and research branch of the Department of Examinations by fax to 011 21 77 411 or by email to slexamseo@gmail.com. Further information can be obtained by calling 011 2784 208 or 011 2784 That ends Watchlight.
Please be aware on institutes, registration and accreditation when you are selecting vocational courses which leads to achieve your future career goals. Do not waste your valuable time and money. Confirm institutes, registration and accreditation by TVEC. For more information, visit nearest district divisional secretariat offices and meet career guidance practitioners or skill development officers. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Coming up, World News.
World News, headlines first. The appeals court upholds former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib's 1 MDB conviction. The leader of SDP calls to succeed Merkel in Germany's counselor. The IOC faces questions over US diplomatic boycott. World News in detail. A Malaysian appeals court on Wednesday upheld former Prime Minister Najib Razak's conviction for corruption in the first case related to the multi-billion-dollar scandal at the state fund 1 MDB. Najib, whose term as Prime Minister ended with a defeat at the 2018 elections, was found guilty of the diverting an estimated $9.88 million from SRC International, a division of 1MDB, into his personal bank accounts in July last year and sentenced to 12 years in prison. The 68-year-old was allowed bail pending appeal. The panel of 3 appeal courts judges sitting in the administrative capital of Putrajaya dismissed the appeal on all charges. The German parliament will name Olaf Scholz to succeed Chancellor Angela Merkel, who is stepping down after leading the country for 16 years. Scholz will be elected new Chancellor in a vote at the Bundestag today. The leader of the Social Democratic Party served as finance minister under Merkel. He will lead a 3-party coalition between his center-left Social Democratic Party, the Greens, and the pro-business Free Democrats. The International Olympic Committee has reiterated that it respects the political decision made by the United States not to send government delegates to the 2022 Beijing Winter Games. The IOC Executive Board met online from its base in Lausanne, Switzerland on Tuesday to check preparations for the Beijing Games, which will open in less than 2 months' time. IOC President Thomas Bach did not attend the news conference, but is due to meet reporters after the final day of the Executive Board meeting tomorrow. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The appeals court upholds former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib's 1MDB conviction. The leader of the SDP calls to succeed Merkel as German Chancellor. The IOC faces questions over U.S. diplomatic boycott. That ends World News.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The Gazette notification for ordering gems up to $3,000 online received the approval of the Ministerial Consultative Committee at the committee meeting held in Parliament recently. It was discussed that these steps have been taken to promote the gem and jewellery industry as tourism has been subjected to restrictions given the prevailing COVID-19 situation. The Gazette notification has also reduced the 0.5% fee charged by the Gem and Jewellery Authority to 0.25%. That ends Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavida. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news.
Cricket news. Galle Gladiators pulled off a 4-wicket win over Kandy Warriors in the 4th fixture of the Lanka Premier League tournament at the R. Premdasa Stadium yesterday. Chasing 144 to win, the Gladiators roamed to the victory with 4 balls to spare when Lahiru Madhushankar smashed the first 2 deliveries of the last over for a 6 and a 4. The win gave Galle Gladiators 2 wins from 3 games, having gone down to Colombo Stars. Meanwhile, on the first day of the Ashes encounter in Brisbane, Australia, at stumps, England were bowled out for 147 runs after winning toss and batting first. Mitchell Starc removed the Rory Burns with the first ball of the match. Australian skipper Pat Cummins took 5 wickets for 38 runs. Josh Butler for England top scored with 39 runs. The match is interrupted due to rain. In the other test match, where tourist Pakistan are taking on Bangladesh in Dhaka, the match is stopped for lunch where Bangladesh is made to follow on, and they were reached 98 runs, losing 4 wickets, trailing by 115 runs. Earlier, they were bowled out for 87 runs in their first innings. Pakistan declared their first innings after scoring 300 runs for 4 wickets. That ends the sports news.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Tourism Ministry said direct flights between Sri Lanka and Poland, which was suspended since the Easter Sunday attack, will resume from today. Accordingly, Lot Polish Airlines will commence direct flights between Poland and Sri Lanka. The minister said Lot Polish Airlines is scheduled to arrive in the country on Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Moving on to economic news, Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority Chief Kimali Fernando says Sri Lanka is expecting to attract about 100,000 tourists a month in 2022. In October, Sri Lanka has welcomed 21,000 arrivals in October, and it had already doubled to 40,000 by November, which is a part of the traditional winter peak season. The Tourism Development Authority Chief further said that Sri Lanka has a very successful vaccination drive and the country is open for tourism with a level of security. A number of airlines had already resumed flights to Sri Lanka. That ends economic news.
This is the weather report.
The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thunder showers to occur at times in the northern, north central, eastern, Uva and central provinces and in the Hambantota district. Showers or thunder showers will take place at several places elsewhere during the evening or night. Fairly heavy rainfall above 75 mm can be expected at some places in the north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in Jaffna and Hambantota districts. That ends the weather report. To conclude the afternoon news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The Pakistan Defence Minister issues clarification vehemently condemning the Sialkot lynching. The State Minister of Cooperative Services says gas explosion victims will be compensated. Litro Gas Lanka Limited ordered to recall unused gas cylinders distributed before 4th of December. The daily COVID count is on the rise. The continuous vaccination campaign continues island-wide. The fishermen affected by Express Pearl fire to be compensated. An 11-member committee appointed to investigate recent unrest in the chamber of the parliament. The final rites of the late Priyanta Kumar, who was brutally murdered in Sialkot, Pakistan, to be performed today. International news. The appeals court upholds former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib's 1 MDB conviction. Cricket rain intervenes as England was scuttled out by Australia on the first day of the Ashes encounter in Brisbane. With that, we conclude the afternoon news on Radio Sri Lanka.